record. Okay, everybody. So welcome this morning. We're here with a couple of representatives from KDNA, and they're going to go through the Gold Tracker Pro training that we're part of. Just one thing, I'll put on the recording so those see it right at the top of this Zoom call. Our individual calls on Monday, individual calls will not be happening. I'm traveling and going to actually be in Florida at the Southeast Rally, the Exit Southeast Rally. So I'll be there on Monday. However, I'm going to do a live Zoom call. I'll send you all this information to the whole group of us that will review a little bit what we're talking about, and then some things that we want to be doing in the week ahead, starting Monday. So there won't be individual calls. There'll just be one Zoom call. I will be recording that, but I'll be recording it from probably my hotel room in Orlando, Florida. And so just want you to be aware of that. I'll remind you again, but we'll get that done on Monday. So, and then as far as what you need to do, we'll discuss on Monday morning. Okay, Susan, it's all yours. Thank you so much for being here, and take it away.
Yeah, I'm Susan, and Kelly is also on the line. Kelly did all the setup for us today. So we're just going to focus on the real basics of what you need to do to track your numbers using KDNA. This training is for the manual tracking. It's not for the people who might be using the power dialer. That'll be a separate training. So that'll be, I don't think we've scheduled that yet.
No.
But that'll be a little later. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but you should have got an email that looks something like this. It's gonna close that up. Oh well. And it said, let's get started, because you don't have any data in there so far. But if you had already started tracking, it would say what percentage achieved so far this week. Okay. I froze up. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. Let me know. Yeah, that's weird. I mean, I froze up on my, oh, that's weird. It stopped my video.
Looks like everybody's frozen, but except me. So I can hear you, Susan.
Okay. Right. Well, some of the people are moving and some aren't. So, okay,
right.
We'll just continue on. So you'll see this email, and hopefully everybody got one of these. It came from Jim, but it's really from KDNA. But he is the manager of this tracker. We call them trackers. And it will show you all of your activities and where you stand on each one of them. Currently, everybody has the same goal values. That's something Jim's going to be working with you on, is setting up appropriate goal values for you, and the actuals are all 0. The thing you'll see on your email that I don't have is the list of the people on your team. So you're either on platinum, gold, or silver, and then you'll see those people as well. So you'll be able to track how you're doing compared to your teammates. So really the most important thing about this this email is this button here. You're going to click here to update to-dos, and whether you're on your phone, your tablet, I'm on my PC, obviously, you'll just click on that, and it will go to what we call the landing page.
Hey, Susan, may I interrupt to ask you a question?
Sure.
So how will the agents, again, they're out in their car, they're making a phone call, they want to log it. How do they get to this? What do they save on their phone? Where do they save it so it's easily accessible? Or do they have to search for the email with the link?
So what I do is I bring it up one time and just make a bookmark for it. So the first time you'll need to find the email, tap on that orange button, and then I just save it like I did with my Wordle, and other stuff like that.
Okay.
Um,
So
yeah,
we
so
have
they
to
can,
find out if anybody has trouble knowing how to make a bookmark on an email.
yeah, it's pretty easy.
Okay, that's all,
But
Jim.
if you don't know, yeah, we'll put together some instructions. It looks like my video camera went out, so you get that lovely picture of me with my mouth open.
Hmm.
So, okay, so you'll come here and this is where you're going to enter your information. So these numbers right here, like I said, Jim's going to work with you on doing the ones that are appropriate for you. Here is where you're going to enter your data. Okay, these actuals are weekly, and they're cumulative. So you see for two-way conversations, I've got a value of 18. If I did 5 more today, then this number, I would change it to 23. So there is a little math involved, but you know, that's how you do it. And then maybe I sent out, 5 emails. I asked my old English teacher for a referral and, whatever it is that you did that day. And then hit save changes and they're all automatically updated. These colors, I thought we had a thingy here, but I guess not. These colors, when you log in, you'll see that we have a legend that shows that red is basically below 5%. Yellow is below 50%. Light green is below 100%. Dark green is you're above 100 to 150. And then there's a blue that is 150% or better. So if I change that to 10, and if I change this to 5, I'm hitting save change. You see the different color schemes there.
And that's a visual tracker of achievement of your goals.
Mhm. Still there, Susan? Susan,
Did we-
disappeared.
Did we lose her?
I
I
think
think we did.
we lost her and she lost us. I'm not sure if we'll have to log back in or I think it's on her end. She can jump
Yeah.
right back on this call.
While we're waiting for it, again, the idea of color coding and percentages, you're going to get a real easy visual idea of where you are. And most importantly, you need to know what your goal is, and visiting that daily and looking at this, it'll keep you very focused on what you're doing or not doing. And the idea is here is these things that you're going to be doing are the blocking and tackling of our business. The Jim's going to be working with you weekly on achieving. So we know this works. We've seen it work. I've been coaching people for years. We know the people that track are more likely to achieve. So this is going to make it easy for you to do. Susan, are you back?
Yeah.
All right.
I've been having some issues with my internet, so I do apologize. I don't know what's been going on. So were you done, Paul?
Yeah, I was treading water waiting for you. So
Okay.
we're good.
Okay, so that's one way to track your information. Another way to do it is to, like, if you're sitting doing, let's see, handwritten notes, let's say, and you write a note, then you can click this and you can increment it. The more common use of this is like when you're doing conversations. You can just tap on that and it's going to increment it by 1.
Okay.
And the third way, which I think we kind of decided was not really going to be as useful for this group, is you can click on the comment section and make it and put in a value to add. So this will add it for you automatically. And then you could put a comment in here if you wanted to say something about, Somebody's
Hey,
a lot of background.
everybody please mute so we can't hear your conversation. Thank you. Okay, I'm sorry, Susan.
That's okay. Okay, so just typing in the number, hitting save, incrementing, or hit comment. Now, if you're on your phone, it's going to look like this. So same thing, just vertical format for a phone. Okay. Obviously your phone's not this big, but you know, you get the idea. And really that's the most important thing you need to know is you're going to get that daily alert, which you can look at and see where you're at. You click on the orange button or tap on it. And it brings you to your landing page so you can do your work, and it's pretty quick. One thing I will recommend is do this every day. I know some people argue with me on this one, but it's just like any other habit. You know, if you do it every day, then it becomes a habit. If you try to do it in the week, you'll forget what you did. I don't know what I had for breakfast. So, you know, it's just a good practice to get into. You'll get good solid numbers that mean something. And there are other tools within KDNA that then management can use to help you understand areas you're doing really well in, other areas you could work on, you know, that kind of thing. Beyond this, then, if you want to log into KDNA, oh, the other thing I didn't mention is you don't even need to know your username and password to get to this page. So that's a good thing. You don't have to like log me out again. So you could just, but if you do want to log in, you can go to log into KDNA. I'm a different person on this tracker, so I'll use that. And then, oh, I'm not showing my screen again. You guys seeing the screen?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good.
And anybody, any questions that you have, please speak up and ask your questions. You won't be interrupting anyone. Because if you have a question, there's probably someone else in this group that does as well. So please ask away if you're confused or don't understand anything or something. Please speak up.
Okay. So when you do log in, the first thing I think Jim wants you to do is to take your disk profile. And like I said, I've got a bunch of different things going on here. So I'm going to try to make it, oh, I don't have it set up. Shoot, okay. You'll go to take my disk, and there will be a button for you that says, well, I've already taken it. So in my case, I'll say edit profile so I can go back in. But it's basically going to give you 40 or 24 choices of what the most and least thing, what describes you. Are you decisive? And maybe you're not so expressive, whatever it is.
And if I could interrupt you, Susan, for just one second.
Please.
For those of you that don't know, the DISC profile is one of the foundational pieces that Exit Corporate has placed into basically where we start as agents with Exit. So if you haven't done the DISC profile, or even if you have done it, please go to that. I'll remind you on Monday when we talk in a Zoom session all together to do your DISC profile. You can start it today if you would like and complete it today. But we all need to do the DISC profile, which is a personality tracking system. And but we'll be doing that. Absolutely. I'll be reminding you on Monday if you don't start even today, which you can. I know a lot of people are chomping at the bit to learn this, to use it. And we're going to stay pretty basic for a week. And so one of the first things you can do is the DISC profile. Okay. Thank you, Susan.
Yeah, so I'm going to log out of this one to show you how much of the other functionality do you want me to show them besides disk, Jim?
I don't know that we don't need to worry about business plan. I don't think anything else, Susan. I can't think of anything. They're not going to use, I guess, the My Tracker.
Yeah,
But
let me go to that again. I'm looking for where I have an example that, has some data and it makes it more real. You can always go to your My Tracker and you can look at all of the activities that you're working on and, start looking at trends. So right now I'm looking at the 2 months this person started in February. And this is showing the 4 weeks of February. So it's showing all of the averaging for all those 4 weeks. So far, there's only one deadline that has come and gone in March. So there's only 1 week here, but I can dive down even deeper by hitting the weekly view and, scrolling through this. And again, looking for trends, where, in order to get green down here, you got to have green up here, and that's where it's going to start. I mean, if you think about it, especially newer people, cascading effect, once you start doing the pre-sales activities, it's going to kind of start green up here and, turn green down at the bottom too. And that's what you want. Or blue. Blue's better. The other thing we didn't mention is that Jim's going to be sending you what we call coaching notes. So you may send individual or you may send group coaching notes, and you can come up here anywhere you are here. Here I can look at my coaching notes just by clicking on that button. There's other places, it's all over the place, but you look for this big blue button and then you can click on it and see all of the past communications that we've had. If you had articles in there that you wanted to keep track of, meetings that you're having coming up. And so Jim might send you some information to have you review before your meeting. When you get that, it'll come to your email as well. It'll always be here in your KDNA. But when you get the email, you could just reply to it like a regular email, and that email will get tracked in with the rest of these notes. So you always have them. So that's what you'll want to use those notes for. Anything you want to add, Jim, to that? Oh, you're muted.
So the disc profiles, first, you'll be able to track things. You'll be able to see notes that are put in there and so forth. And green is good. Remember that green is good. And one of the things I asked Susan yesterday in a training that I had with her is there anything I can hit here that will destroy everything and blow my computer up or erase everything? And Susan, I think, told me that it's pretty foolproof. And don't be afraid to get into the system and work with it, experiment with it, and become comfortable with it, just as I'm going to do.
Yeah, I mean, we have a thing called conversion ratios, and this is really powerful. Once you start tracking your data and you have, a few months of really solid, this is what I did, and these are the results I got from that, you'll start to be able to see, maybe I have to do more, two-way contacts. Maybe I've got to do more cold calling. Maybe whatever it is, you and Jim will be able to dive down into that and say, okay, well, this goal value isn't getting you the results you want, so we need to up that. Or maybe one of them, you're just like, it doesn't seem to be helping because you're at 150%, but it's maybe more work that you could take off your plate. So it's really good. Like I said, I always kind of harp on this, doing the daily tracking. Just I mean, any industry you can think of, diets, workouts, just like, I don't know if it was Paul or Jim saying it when I came back in after my internet burped, that, there's thousands of studies that prove, and I know from my own life, an experience, that tracking makes all the difference in the world. So make it a habit.
Would you suggest, Susan, that, as far as people doing time blocking and scheduling this, would you recommend, obviously, that it's daily, that it be at the end of the day or beginning of the day? I would think the end of the day is when you would put in all your results from everything that you've done during the day, so you won't forget to input it the next day or change it. What are best practices with that?
Well, I think it depends on the person. Actually, personally, I put it in when I do it.
Okay.
So it's multiple times a day.
Mhm.
But some people just kind of keep track of it, maybe on a scrap of paper beside them or something, So it is an individual thing, but personally, when I do it, I track it.
Okay. So do it right away. You don't forget about it. And you don't lose your piece of paper.
Yeah.
Right.
Plus, I hate paper. Yeah. So
if can we add to-dos like in that column there, or is Jim, are you gonna be the one only adding the to-dos?
Yeah, those have been placed for us. I think KDNA had 12 that are time tested over time. Paul and I also added some to it. So the to-dos are, for now, they're in place, if I understand correctly, Susan. And those are the ones that we need to focus on. And you and I, Michael, and everybody else will talk about this each Monday. We'll go back to this and say, okay, here are the to-dos. Why were you unable? Tell me, is there something I could help you with in order to know how to network? Do you need help in where to go, what to do, who to see, and to become active networking? So we'll work on each individual to-do that's on this chart. Make sense, Michael?
Yes, thank you.
okay.
Can I
And
ask a quick question?
Sure.
This is Kim. On my comment tracker page, it only starts at 10. Like I can't see 1 through 9.
On your when you log in?
Yes, and I'm on my tracker and it starts at 10.
Right. So there are, and we hadn't really brought that up yet, but good catch. If I hit show, these
Show all.
Yeah, these first 9 are ones that are used by the automated system for if people are using the power dialer. And these are, so you can't even click into them because when you're using the power dialer, it automatically puts that data into the system for you if you're using that. In which case, if you're using the power dialer, Jim will be turning these goal values on. Right now, 0 means off. So yeah, good catch, Kim. So
All
by
right.
default, it's hiding the ones that you're not tracking right now.
Okay.
Yeah, that is a little confusing on the My Tracker. I forgot about that. That's a good point. Because you also won't see number. I think we turned off door knocking, so that one you won't see either. So yeah, the numbering will look a little goofy on there. Okay. Anything else you want me to cover, Jim? Paul?
Just open it up for questions. Paul might have a comment. There you go.
Yeah, no, I not immediately. I think it's like anything else. It's going to take a little bit of hands-on. We want you to play with this tool this week. Start to get familiar with it. See what questions you do have. It's like everything in the beginning. It's mind-boggling. All of this one really isn't that complicated. And if you can just get into the habit of, and by the way, there's going to be 12 or 15 goals here. And I think as Jim works with you, if you decide you're not going to do door knocking, you're not going to do, whatever it is, but your business plan makes sense and it's cohesive, creative to you accomplishing what you want to accomplish, we're fine with that. But what we want to help you do is be aware of keeping yourself accountable to yourself, and to what you want to achieve. The computations that are done where they're showing the correlations between activity and result, I can't emphasize enough how valuable that's going to be. It's, it sounds interesting, but when you actually get it, because now you're in control of your business, you can make a decision. You're seeing that those phone calls are getting you appointments. So it's real simple. You want more appointments, make more phone calls. It's not rocket science. But without that, we intuitively know things. But if you don't take it up to the level where you've got the actual data and you see it and it's very transparent. I don't know, for me, I'll give you my classic example unrelated to this, is I get on a scale every morning. And that tells me about my diet and going to the gym. And when I see those pounds going on, I know I've been cheating on something else. I don't track the calories, but it's funny how that activity makes me go to the gym and think a little more consciously about what I eat. Well, this is the same thing here. You'll look at these numbers, you'll look at your activities, and you say, hey, you know what? I really do want to make $100,000 this year. And I said I was going to do what it takes. I told my significant other I was going to do what it takes, but here's the numbers. I'm not doing it. So, or better yet, I am doing it. Awesome. Be at peace. The number's not there yet, but you're doing the right things. Just be patient. It comes. And those studies of the numbers to the results will be the proof that you need, that you'll see it. We know it works. We've been doing this for a long time as an industry, and I've been doing it for a decade as a coach. Everyone that I use that tracks their numbers significantly changes their production, period, but almost without exception. Anyways, that's all I know, as Forrest Gump would say.
Mhm. Yeah. Susan, just open it up for questions with anybody. Please ask.
Just to clarify what he asked, those are not customizable. They're locked in place.
That's
Yeah.
correct. That's correct.
The categories are not, but you can elect to track a category or not track it.
Okay.
So if you're not a door knocker, we're not going to ask you to door knock.
Right.
I might ask.
Yeah, Jim might, but I support Jim's ask because he's in charge now. I'm just driving the boat. He's running it. So.
And if anyone thinks anything should be added to these categories that Paul and I have missed, or that aren't in, please tell me, and we will make sure we get it on so you can track those things that you'll do and that you'll be successful doing. So this is a two-way street. Really need to hear from you. And I think I gathered, at least from Susan today and Stephen, who was on the call earlier, that I'll be with you every week to track this. And I think that's uncommon as far as the kind of contact someone like myself, your accountability partner, does as far as this company. And what I'm trying to say is Paul has initiated this and has made it possible, so to speak, for me to do this weekly with you, because we believe so much that this accountability needs to be weekly, that I think we're going way beyond what is normal that this company sees. Am I correct, Susan? Am I overstating?
No, you're right. I mean, we see a lot of companies where it's like sink or swim. I mean, I'm not a salesperson, but if I was, I'd want to work for you guys, but you don't want me. I'm no good at sales.
Yeah.
So
I find that hard to believe, but so I think this accountability has with it some challenges, a few challenges, because it isn't like you're going to be able to go very long without your accountability partner, which is me, at least talking to you about ways to help and things that I might be able to do. with the limited skills and abilities that I have. But we really want to be accountable to you. And that's why we're doing this on a weekly basis. So,
But to answer that question more, I've seen, I've worked with so many different companies and groups, and I mean, this is special that you're going to have somebody to talk to every week and, bounce ideas off, and, and maybe it's just, am I going in the right direction, and having the confirmation that that's true. Yeah.
I'd like to throw two comments in real quick. One is an agent that left us, Gabriel De Hoya, is a friend of mine. I talked to him yesterday and shared with him all these things. And he said, Paul, I said, I hope the agents that are still there realize what you have, because I went to EXP. I don't have anything. He says, and I'm probably coming back. I thought that was an interesting comment. But a more important comment that I want to make, or maybe equally important, I want you all to write down the date, May 31st. And I want you to put it on your calendars, and I want you to put a star by it, because here's the thing. It's human nature. You're going to get into this, and you're going to be excited in the beginning. And 2 weeks from now, you're going to start to feel this. I don't want to do it. You haven't done it long enough to see the results and to make it a habit. And you haven't seen the correlations between activities and results. And so I'm going to tell you that I want you all to commit. Do not allow anything other than a trip to the hospital where you're on a ventilator. Do not allow anything to stop you from making it to May 31st, tracking your numbers. If you will do that, you will have logged enough to know the meaning of doing this. And if you shortchange it and quit tracking anytime between now and then, you're not giving yourself a chance, and you're not giving the system a chance. But if you'll track it to May 31st, you've given yourself, 75 days, which is a good amount of time. We'll start to see the results. We'll see the data. And the other thing is, coincidentally, it'll start to be a habit. It's kind of like those of you that learn to use prompter. And so I really want you to make a commitment to yourself to give it this type of opportunity. And I think May 31st is a good target. That's enough time to know. And by the way, that's the launch of the summer season, when activities get really busy. And if you do these activities now through May 31st, guess what? You'll kill it this summer, or you'll do better than you would have done it at a minimum, right? Because that's when we see the most movement in housing. Well, the movement's happening with people that set the stage the prior quarter. And so what we're doing is we're giving you the tool, and we're going to ask you to do the activities so that you have a phenomenal summer. One other parting comment: the groups are based on prior production and somewhat expectations, but not necessarily. But tied to them, commensurate to them, are activity levels. So if you've been making over 100 or want to make over 100,000 a year, you're in the platinum group with the highest commitment of DAOs and other activities. It's not for Jim and I or the system to tell you that you're in the gold group, not the platinum group. It's for you to determine it. So when you meet with Jim, if you say, Jim, even though I made $40,000 last year, but I'm going to make 100 by hook or crook, and tell Jim to move you up in the platinum group. We're glad to do it. In fact, we encourage it. But we're also trying not to make somebody run a marathon that's never run a 10K. Mm-hmm. So we find, and what we understand from our friends here at KDNA, we understand it's better to learn to walk before you try to run. So if you ease through your goals, we can easily up you into a new category. So we'll do whatever you want to do. Do not think that we're trying to box you in, that we only expect this from you. We're going to expect what you expect. So you set the stage. All right, thank you.
Well said, Paul. That's all I have, Susan. And I think that's all Paul has. If there's no other questions, I guess.
And we're going to have follow-on meetings, and, like I showed you on the slide, if you have questions, you can ask Jim, or if it's something to do, technical, then you could just email us at support@knowledgedna.com. Kelly's on the line too. We have other people who monitor that system for support issues.
Yeah, I would say probably before Monday, till I do a Zoom call. If you have any questions, I would go to support now, because I'm going to be driving to Florida. So I'm going to be driving for a couple days in a car. I probably won't be able to pay attention to you. I apologize. But so any technical questions, please see that support at knowledgedna.com and use that at least till Monday. And one thing I can tell you is it's going to take me, perhaps like you, a little while to become accustomed to this site and to be able to technically be able to handle it. I don't think that my motivation to help you is going to lack at all, but my ability to operate the system may have challenges, and I know you will all be very understanding because you know that I'm old and originally from Iowa.
Hey, Jim, three things in closing here. Everybody, do this today or do this when you hang up. Number one, find your link. If anybody can't find the link to get started, stop what you're doing, call Jim and reach out to us. Find your link. Second thing, do your disc in the next day or so. Preferably do it sooner. If you've done in the past, so what? Do it again, because it puts it in the system. And then we can look at it and refer to it in the coaching calls. And number three, play with this tool between now and Monday. Three things. That's it. Just do those three.
Okay. Super.
Okay.
Hey, Jim, if I can add one thing.
Yes, please.
Comment. If you've not taken a disc profile of any sort in the past, the most important thing of that is to be honest with yourself, because people will use those and they'll say personality profile, and I do as well. So you don't want to come off as being, oh, I don't know, brusque or rude, but or open and whatever. But I've taken several of these, and at one point I was sitting beside my wife when I did it, and I wanted to seem a little differently than I know I am, and she said, "That's not you." So you've got to be honest with yourself, because I think most of this stuff is being honest with yourself. Track yourself honestly, make sure it's going to do the job for you. And if you don't put in the proper information about yourself to start, that's not helping you.
Yeah, good point, Tom. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Anyone else have any comments or any questions before we go? All right, I recorded this. I will put this link on our Facebook page shortly, and so you can review it if you would like. And again, use that support at knowledgedna.com. Even if you have login questions, would that be okay, Susan? If they
Oh yeah.
okay,
Oh yeah. We get a lot of those initially.
Yeah,
It's okay.
I don't want to go that's probably what I do. So, okay, you guys, I'm super excited to get this thing going.
I have one question real quick.
Yes, Michael.
The logins, are they already made, or are we making new logins, or how is that working? Do we
You should have gotten an email from, I think Kelly said it came from KDNA Goal Tracker, but the email address is kdna@kdna.com. And she set you up on Monday. So it would have come sometime Monday.
That's
Okay.
why I said, find the link, your first step. Find the link when you hang up from this call. If you can't find it, reach out to support KDNA, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You want to put that support email address? Oh, it's right here in front of us on the screen,
Yeah.
support@knowledgedna.com.
Also,
Everybody got it?
for anybody that's trying to get this on their, because there's not an app for this, correct?
Correct. That was
So-
my question earlier.
Right.
Yeah. That's why since we're done, I was going to kind of touch back on this because I knew what Paul was getting at. For iPhone users only, because I am not an Android. If you have an iPhone, a Mac, or an iPad that you'll be using this on, you can do it right now when I tell you, or you can do it later if you can remember. Go to the email that they sent you, click on that link that is in the email when you go to log in. When you click on it, it's gonna take you to the website like normal. Let me pull it up so I can have it correct. And then you're gonna click on it. It's gonna take you to the website. At the bottom of your screen, on an iPhone, it might be a little bit different on an iPad, you'll see the little box that looks like you're gonna send something. It's a little box with an arrow.
Yeah.
Okay, to me, that's the little send button, but I don't know what it's actually called, the technical term. You'll click on that and you'll scroll down to add to home screen. And that will give you a widget for that website. And it kind of makes it feel like it's an app and you're not constantly going to Safari or DuckDuckGo to type it in. You
Yeah.
just to your home screen. And then like for me, you can take that little widget and toggle it into your business folder or whatever folder you have for your work stuff. And then that way it's easily accessible for you. Same thing on your iPad.
Thanks, Brittany. That's,
To me,
thank
that's
you,
Yeah,
a
Brittany.
little,
thank you.
that's just a little bit easier than a bookmark. A bookmark still requires you to go to Safari, which is a pain in the butt for me. So I like to have things on my little desktop on my phone. It just easier access. If you have an Android phone, I'm so sorry. I don't know how to do it on there. I apologize, but maybe Android users that do have Androids, maybe you could look into how to do the same thing just on an Android.
Yeah, Google it, right? YouTube it. Good. Thank you, Brittany. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
so-
no problem at all. And you can do that with anything that doesn't have an application that you want easy access to. I'm sure Kim knew that too. She's just a little more humble than me.
guys, if anybody's willing to do a quick video and send a post to OS Social for distribution on our public site. Number one, other agents start to see you. It's going to help you in sponsoring and visibility, and you can talk about what a cool tool this is and how you're using it. So, just an idea.
Yes. Hey,
I
Paul,
have
what-
OS
what-
social posts that I could post that I just posted on my actual page.
OS Social, if you go to that site, they'll create the post for you. All they need is a photograph and a description. So is that what you just asked me? I'm sorry.
No. You were saying, I thought you asked if we had one. I have one that I would like to post. I have the graphic, that's all I need to submit. So I guess I'll just go to that tutorial and do that.
It's so easy. You upload a photograph and just type the description and they'll make sure it's compliant with all of this system. And then everybody will share it for you once it hits the public site.
Awesome.
Great.
I'll get that done today.
Great.
Thank you. Okay, are we good?
Yeah, thanks for
you,
your
everybody.
time. I appreciate it. This makes it much easier actually in the long run, for our support, that you got a good feel for it.
Yeah.
This is exciting.
Okay.
May 31st, we've got our job cut out for us.
Is there going to be a party, Paul?
There's going to be a party.
All right. we're gonna-
Everybody comes and you remember the color coding? If you hit your goal, everything tracks green. At the party, I'm giving out green t-shirts, yellow t-shirts, and red t-shirts. So make sure you get a green t-shirt. All right.
You don't want a red one.
That's it. Because I reached my goal. All right.